Massachusetts. When my daughters and my wife, they wait for me all alone. But the truth is, it's where I always am, it's where I long to be. Nyla started preschool, and Indy just turned 2. And Zoe's just the perfect mix of me and you. And they keep getting older, time keeps going by. To think about it makes your daddy wanna cry. So I just passed the sign that welcomes me to Worthington, established long before this country came to be. A place that hasn't really changed with time, the way this country that I love it used to be. Because I'm home in Massachusetts, when my daughters and my wife, they wait for me all alone. But the truth is, it's where I always am, it's where I long to be. Because I'm home in Massachusetts, where my hero teaches classes every day, and where my friends, they don't treat me different. It's where my family is, it's where I'll always stay. Because I'm home.
Good morning, West Springfield. We're here very early this morning at the Irish Cultural Center for our usual 1 hour of Window into West Side. Today we're going to be here for 3 hours, but thankfully we have some special guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves, starting with our Colleen.
Good morning. My name is Jenna Melvin. I'm the 2018 West Springfield Colleen. During the school year, I participated.
Well, you can tell your. Let's continue to introduce yourself.
Good morning, I'm Erin Gladio. I'm a member of the 2018 Colleen Court.
Hello, I'm Haley McDonald. I'm also a member of the court.
Hi, I'm Lauren Kenny, and I'm a member of the court as well.
Hi, I'm Megan Brassel, and in addition to everyone else, I'm also part of the court.
All right, Miss Melvin, back to you. We're gonna. You each can talk to yourselves about a little bit. I just want to let everyone introduce themselves first.
Okay. So during the school year, I participate in field hockey, indoor track, and outdoor track, and I'm the captain of all 3 teams. I also am a member of the student government, mathletes, and
All right, that's good.
the Irish Cultural Club.
Wait a minute, Mayor. Did they ever think that when they got involved in this, they'd have to get up this early to do a radio show?
No, they just asked why they had to be on first, and they have school next, so we want to get them on early. And they were here before me too, so.
My turn. I'm a senior at West Springfield High School. I participate in varsity soccer, varsity lacrosse, and varsity indoor track. I'm also vice president of the National Honor Society, and I am a part of Mathletes.
Hello,
Come on, Haley.
it's Haley again. I'm also a part of the varsity soccer team and also the tennis team. I am the editor of the school newspaper and a part of the National Journalism Honor Society. And I have an internship with the mayor here and Carly. And that's about it.
Okay. I am a swimmer at the high school and on a club team. I'm in National Honor Society and Spanish National Honor Society, and I also have a job at the YMCA in Westfield.
I'm the captain of the swim team at West Springfield High School. I'm class president. I'm drum major for the high school marching band, and I'm in Triumph. And I'm also in National Honor Society.
Awesome. We got a bunch of super overachievers here. So, more important, let's talk a little bit about being Colleen in the Corps. Are you guys excited for this weekend? I'm sure right now you're kind of overwhelmed with Irish events.
Kind of.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're all pretty excited for this weekend. We've been seeing the flow progress over time, and it looks really beautiful. No spoilers, but you should all look out for us on Sunday in the award-winning float.
So, you think we're going to win this year?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like the
Definitely.
biggest
I think
award,
so.
not just like one of the other awards.
I know.
High
No,
hopes
the whole
for
thing.
biggest award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It really is.
If we don't win,
They put a lot of hard work into it.
Yeah, if we
There's-
don't win, I'm not going.
Will you already be there?
I'm leaving.
Gets off the float
Just
halfway
kidding.
through.
Just kidding.
And we have a great playlist.
Yeah, we do. We worked
Great
really
song
hard on
playlist.
it.
Aaron worked really hard.
Yeah.
Well,
So, you guys get to have speakers on the float? as
Yeah.
you-
Yeah, we
Oh,
get to
that's- I'm
sing.
We
jealous
have
of
like
that.
2 full pages of songs that they're gonna play.
Wow.
And probably they will play like 3 songs, but it's okay. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think the cool part, for me at least, is I've marched in multiple parades, but this year we get to go off right behind Holyoke. So we get to be there early, but we get to end early too. So hopefully it won't be that cold yet.
Yeah, it kind of stinks waiting around in the cold for 3 hours.
Yeah. So you can tell the Colleens next year we're last next year, so it's not going to be enjoyable. You guys lucked out.
Yeah.
So besides the parade, what's been your kind of favorite thing about being Colleen Court so far?
A lot of food.
a lot of corned beef.
I was
and
are you
yeah.
over
But it's
corned beef and
nice.
cabbage yet?
No.
We've only had it twice.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly.
But we have some more luncheons this week. Like there was supposed to be one yesterday, but it got canceled.
That was probably going to be
But
corned
like-
beef.
Yes. The Rotary would be corned beef, but
Yes.
the big snowstorm canceled that. Yeah.
Or 2 inches.
We also get a lot of presents, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
We got obviously the sweaters, the sashes. We got these really nice Irish knit blankets, another blanket.
We got like 2
That's
scarves.
super.
Yeah.
Did you get your tartans yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Oh, they match your tie.
Yeah, it's all the same. So what else? What else is
Skit.
exciting for?
We have a
oh
cute
yeah.
dance that we do it.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
guys couldn't do it here. There's not enough room. Though.
Oh, no, it's okay.
We tried to
The
once.
speaker died.
Yeah, I almost got pushed
Bad
into the
luck.
fireplace. It was great.
It's a fake fire though. It's fine.
That doesn't look
That's
fake.
fake.
Well, I mean, the flames aren't fake. It's just gas.
Didn't they do that when we were here? When you were here for the mayor's challenge, right?
Yes. Yeah. When we lost to Westfield, Pete. Thanks for bringing that up.
No, I wasn't talking about that part. I was going to let that slide. I was talking about them
Have you won one yet?
doing the dance here.
Wow. No. No. I like to come in second because I don't want anyone to not come again. So like, when I lost to the
Good
Holyoke
strategy,
Bear in the foot
boss.
race, I didn't want to like in his own town.
I'm sure that's how it went.
Exactly. I strategically come in second.
Right.
Just when I only come in first when it's the election. That's the only one that matters.
I don't know. Why did you guys? What motivated you guys to do this? To come out and do this? Because I know there's a whole process and there's a lot of time commitment to it. What kind of motivated you to do it?
To be Colleen, not come
Yeah.
on the radio show.
I think I speak for everyone when we sent in our application at like 9 o'clock the night it was due.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it or not. But for me, my whole family is from Holyoke, and we always go to St. Patrick's Day Parade. So it's always been a dream of mine, I guess, to be part of the parade because I go every year, and so this was my opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've kind of just grown up like celebrating like the Irish culture with my family because my dad's extremely Irish and so is my mom. And I think that this was like just an opportunity to have fun. Like I didn't expect to get in at all. I kind of just did it to have a good time, and then I ended up getting in, so this is even better. We get to celebrate our Irish culture and be in the parade as well. So I think it's fun.
Now, have any of you gone to Ireland? Did you guys go last year or 2 years ago with the group?
Aaron and I went to Ireland 2 years ago, and I actually, my father ended up going on the trip, and we actually had the opportunity to visit the house my grandmother or my dad's mother grew up in because she's from the part of Ireland, Dingle, that we went to. So we visited her brother and we got to see the house she grew up in. And it was really exciting for me to see that part of my Irish heritage and, excuse me, and see where my grandmother grew up.
I'm going this year.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, just for the listeners, I would say viewers, the listeners at home, you guys were in Dingle, right? Or girls were in Dingle? So now West Springfield is now sister cities with Dingle. So when you go there, you're coming from like the sister community. Hopefully they'll remember who we are. But it was, we went in December. It was gorgeous. The Dingle, while the weather kind of was not that great, it's Ireland, but the country was awesome. We got to go. I don't have any family there. I'm German, so it wasn't the same for me. But going around and hearing, so like Sean Kaelane from the ICCs from the Blasket Islands. Did you guys get to see the Blasket Islands?
Yeah, we went to the museum, but we didn't actually travel out to the islands.
Same for us. It was like stormy weather and everything. But hearing, especially from West Springfield, where 22% of the people are descended from Ireland or Irish, I've grown up hearing stories about, especially now that I'm mayor in Town Hall, about the Dingle Peninsula and the Blasket Islands. And to go over and see it, I think, in person is really cool. And especially since now you're currently in the court, you get to have a little Irish connection even deeper than that.
Yeah, luckily when we went, the weather was actually beautiful. It was like between 60 and 70. This was during April.
I don't think it rained once when we were
Yeah,
there.
surprisingly
Really?
it didn't
Didn't rain?
rain.
It did not
yeah.
rain.
Also, not everybody in Ireland has red hair. They're mostly tall and they have dark hair and pale skin.
So you're saying they're not all leprechauns?
Yes, not all leprechauns. Probably the opposite.
Was that a big shock to you when you went over there?
A little bit, honestly.
And they all speak English too, right? They don't speak
Yeah,
Gaelic.
they
for the
kind
most
of
part.
told us Gaelic was a dying language, which we were all pretty surprised about, but
But where we went, they were like required to speak it at their school, so they all knew it. And like Dingle is like one of the only places that they still speak it regularly, but all of them knew how to speak English and like could if they wanted to.
yeah, I think especially with their friends, they just speak English and probably a lot with their families too, but I knew they said they still had to learn Gaelic.
I think they would make fun of us in Irish, like if we were around.
Yeah, so did you get to meet the like students over there too?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time with the students and visiting the school. It was actually really interesting to see the school.
Yeah, we got to shadow it for a whole day.
And yeah, they asked us about Donald Trump. That was like the first thing we got asked in the history class.
You guys went in 2016?
Yes.
2016? Okay.
And it was when we were sophomores when we went, Aaron and I, and their sophomore year, they call it fourth year in Ireland. It's actually like, I don't know what the correct term is, like a break year, but they almost just, like they go to the movies for some of their classes. Like they don't take any
It's
hard
like where
classes.
they're like supposed to like find themselves and like figure out what they want to do.
Yeah,
so,
it's like-
they don't go to school. Like it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's like they're discovering themselves year. They spent like almost the whole week with us doing activities, and we were like, "Aren't you missing a lot of school?" And they were like, "Honestly, we're just going to movies today." Like they really didn't do anything, but
So how was it to go on vacation and have to go to school during your vacation?
More fun than
from
you would
what I
think.
hear, like you're president of every club, and it must have been fun, right? It was like a normal vacation.
it was pretty exciting to see how a different school community worked over there. Everybody seems, like they knew each other. It's a pretty close-knit community because Dingle isn't really that big. I remember my grandma talks about it, that there's basically only one road in and out of Dingle because it's on a peninsula, so it's a little isolated. And I know they have a really small police force just because if anyone does something and tries to escape, there's only one road they can leave on.
All right, so does anyone else want to tell me like exciting things they've done on Colleen? Haley, how about you?
We had a skit.
So since you
So-
can't do this skit, do you want to explain this skit a
So
little
yeah,
bit?
so they told us that we have to have some kind of, it's not really a skit, it's more like a dance that we do at most of the events, and we had to learn it. It took us like probably like 3 weeks, I would say.
Yeah.
And we
practice
practiced
like, twice a week.
Yeah, once or twice a week, and we would like all meet up, or we would go like we went to the Unico building one time and just at all the steps. Lynn McCarthy, she was like the person who really helped us with it, and we did it for the first time at the Brian Clune night. Well, we did it here for the first time, but the thing died halfway through, and there was only 4 of us, so it wasn't as fun. But like we've done it. We did it at the Brian Clune night, and then at St. Thomas the other night for the Knights of Columbus, and I think both times went really well. We have cute like beards that we wear, and like hats that we put on halfway through.
Cute beards.
Yeah, they're cute.
So do you compete with the skit at all, or is that just a fun thing
No,
girls do?
They used to.
that
compete.
used to,
Yeah.
yeah. But the towns that would lose all the time got a little salty about it, so it
West
kind of
Side
died
went all the
out.
time,
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah.
So do you do it on the skit while you're going along, or is it not able to like?
That would be pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work.
We could try.
The
But
songs though are featured on our playlist.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
songs we dance to.
So you're gonna dance though, anyways, on your float, depending on
No.
like the warmth. No.
Maybe.
Whenever I hear it, I want to dance. Yeah, I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
Like a little bit, but not.
From what I've been hearing, the weather's supposed to be nice this weekend.
It
You
is.
know, not
it should
that
be
cold.
in the 40s.
Knock on wood.
It's not going to be that bad. It's not going to snow. Not going to rain.
Wonderful.
It's going to be gorgeous weather, and then you have to do it the skit at least one more time, right? That afternoon at the Tatum Social Club.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think we do it
I-
at the senior center.
Yeah, we're going
Ooh,
to.
that's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to another luncheon on Friday, but I don't think we're doing it there. And I know also on Friday we're going to 2 different elementary school classes, and we're doing a craft with them, and then I'm gonna read them a story. So that'll
Just
be
Jenna,
fun.
though.
How
Yeah,
did you get nominated for that? Because you're Colleen.
yeah, pretty much.
Do you get to pick the story, or is it?
I don't think so. Nobody's asked me yet.
What crafts are you doing? Which schools are you going to?
We wanted to make slime.
But the
That
teacher
was
said
shut
no to
down.
slime.
But
Like shamrock
Kids
slime.
love slime.
Kids love slime.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna make a huge mess.
So
and
we
then
thought
kind of
we'd
be like, oh, we gotta go to class.
Much of a mess.
No,
We
we're
thought
not
it'd be
going
the
to school on
coolest
Friday.
Halloweens ever.
Oh, nice. So, how does the rest of your classmates feel that you guys get to skip a bunch of class?
I don't think they know.
None of them know yet. I told one of my friends, and she was mad she didn't do it. The tryout for the Colleen Court because she wants to miss
We're gonna
school.
be like late to school, and then we get to miss parts of school tomorrow, and we don't have to go to school at all.
Yeah, we were supposed to miss like 3 days of school this week, but yesterday our thing was canceled, obviously.
Yeah.
And school was canceled.
So I've always wondered. There was 10 of you this year that tried out to be Colleen.
Yeah.
So are there people that don't do it? Why? Because they don't know they get to get out of class, or
I was scared because I thought that I would put a ton of hard work into it and then be like, oh, nope, you're done. Which kind of sucks about it is like you do go through the whole application and interview process and you go to the rehearsal and you sit there, and it does probably really stink to like have to just walk away from it. So I think that I was just most scared of that.
It's also like a pageant setting, obviously, and it was like, I think for me it was getting up in front of everyone, which was like the hardest, kind of like walking around in front of like 250 people at night. So I think a lot of people are kind of not scared of that, but like intimidated by it kind of, so that's why they don't do it.
But now if you tell everyone that you get to get out of class so much,
I know. I guess that's the huge motivator.
Nobody
yeah,
cares.
you got to tell the class next year like
I
this
know.
is actually awesome
I know they're writing about us in the school paper, and I think
because you guys got an in with the editor.
It actually wasn't my idea either.
we put a couple tidbits of advice in there.
But
for
they're not allowed
the
to
next
feature me in it
classes.
because I'm part of the paper. So it's kind of weird. And she like asked me questions. She's like, "So what about the pageant?" But like she can't like.
It's not
use-
attributed to you.
Right.
It's attributed to Jenna.
Right. And like I think she's kind of writing it about like the whole process of it and like what it is, because I think a lot of people just don't know. They think that we just like win the
Yeah.
pageant and sit on the float. Like they don't know all the other things that go into it. So that's what was kind of brought up is like, what do you guys do? And I was like, a lot actually. So that's kind
Yeah.
of the direction she
I
wants
think
to go.
people like recognize us and see us at community events, but also a lot of teenagers don't go to those events.
Yeah.
So it's hard for those kids to know that we also go to those, and then we spend another over 2 hours, sometimes a week, working on our skit. So that's another piece of work that goes into it, and then also, we are doing a community service project where we had people donate money at Brian Clune's night towards headphones that we're going to donate to Bay State Children's Hospital, and we're going to bring them there sometime this week when we can find free time. And because they can't reuse headphones just because of germs, because it's a hospital. So that's something they're really in need of, and it's pretty cheap to donate.
So speaking of, we gotta take a break. I'm being told we gotta take a break. So
You can ask your question. It's a suggestion. It's coming up the time. Go ahead.
It's weird. We don't have a big clock here, so I don't know what's
I know
what's happening. But real quick before the break, you talked a bit about all the community events you all do with the older people, and I'm kind of in between that age. But do you guys do anything really besides going to like Coburn, Mittenegg, the elementary schools? Do you do anything within the high school that people would recognize of what's going on, or other events of your age group, or does your age group do any of those events?
A lot of them go to the parade, I would say, and the road race, so they might see us there, but otherwise, no. We don't really do anything to high
shaking
school.
their heads, so.
I don't know.
Like
I feel like people would make fun of me.
Yeah, like
for
the
wearing
other
a crown
night.
to school.
The other night at the Knights of Columbus thing, there was like volunteers that were like kids like a year younger than us, or
Yeah, they were
like
high
2
school
years.
kids.
They thought we looked
Yeah.
crazy
So
during
like during
our
the skit, they were just looking at us like we were like nuts. Like,
Yeah.
So I think that's like the only time people would see us is like
Yeah.
if they're at the
Definitely
event for
never
some
do the
reason.
skit at high
Yeah,
school.
no.
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 That wouldn't go over well.
Not in the cafeteria.
Feathers
Get everyone
would
in
be
the
everywhere.
auditorium
No,
and
no.
do it in there.
That's okay. On stage.
Yeah,
a good
for a
idea.
5-minute routine.
And you can answer some questions and kind of build up the whole group for next year.
That could be an X Block activity.
Sign up to come watch the Colleens dance during X Block.
All right, we'll take a break and we'll be back with our Colleens.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand. With an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance, and clap their hands. Well, just because a record has a groove, don't make it in the groove. But you can tell right away it's Dr. A when the people start to move. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over people. They can feel it all over. They can feel it all over Music knows it is and always will be one of the things that life just won't quit. But here's some of music's pioneers that time will not allow us to forget now. But as Basie Miller, Satchmo, and the King of all do, and with a voice like Alice ringing out, there's no way the band can lose. You can feel it all over. You can feel it all over, people. You can feel it all over. You can feel it all over, people. You can feel it all over. You can feel it all over, people. You can feel it all over.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Placek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore at Westfield State University, right here in the Ely Campus Center. Whether you're a student, faculty member, or friend of the university, it's the place to shop. Everything from Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise to all of your academic needs. Offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Visit the bookstore on campus or online at www.westfieldstate.bncollege.com. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com. With the Xfinity Double Play and Xfinity Triple Play, you can choose to bundle Comcast services for a great value. Experience Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Explore all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area on the web at xfinity.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
All right, we're back after our short break, and we're joined here with the president of the Holyoke Parade Commission, Tim. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's a great opportunity to sit next to the West Springfield Colleen in court and join you here at the ICC in West Springfield.
Absolutely. So, and hopefully the gold medal float this year. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect on Sunday.
All right, so basically our festive weekend begins on Friday night where registration for the road race continues again on Saturday. Saturday we're going to have a fun run for the children, a walk for people that want to do a walk through the road race. Then we start off with our 1 o'clock road race. We're expecting about 7,000 runners this year in Holyoke. It's supposed to be nice, and we're looking forward to Saturday. Sunday comes, we're going to have a lot of great floats out there, bands, marchers, and communities from all over the region here, and we're happy about that.
So this is the road race. It seems to get bigger and bigger every year, along with the parade. So there's definitely a lot of people that enjoy it around and around. So is there a limit to the 7,000 runners, or is it just grow and grow?
We're gonna be able to grow as big as we can be able to manage, and I think we have a lot more room to move. One thing I would like to say about the road race, this is their 43rd road race in Holyoke. They're like one of the top rated in the state and across the nation. That is well known. Race Times put an article, it's a racing magazine, a few years back saying that for your bucket list to run the St. Patrick's Day road race in Holyoke. That brings a lot of attention to not only Holyoke, but the surrounding communities, the Valley, and Western Massachusetts. And that type of collaborative effort with everybody, including over here in West Springfield, is a great opportunity to promote where we live. This is our home here. This is where we live, work, and have been raised in generations of families. And it's kind of a good opportunity.
So now tell me, you work in West Springfield from Chicopee. How did you get onto the president of the Holyoke Parade Committee?
I've been involved in the parade since 1985. Started with the Chicopee Parade Committee. I worked my way up the ranks there. A guy from Holyoke who is lived in Chicopee for a while, but went back to his hometown of Holyoke. Brought me over here in 2001, and I worked my way on the committee up the ranks to become president of the largest parade around here. And I'm very proud and honored. My honor comes from the amount of distinguished members that I work from all walks of life, and and really love this community and love this area.
So is this a one-year term, or are you kind of president until you want to give it up?
This is a one-year term as president, but it starts out as a 4-year term. I was elected in 2015 after I retired as a police officer for the city of Chicopee, and I'm pretty. There's a lot of work involved in this. Next year, I'll come back as a past president and still be on there. But I'm not going to leave the committee from that point. It's a lot to do, a lot of work. I'll go back to my working point and wear that yellow jacket, and I'll walk by you and you don't know who I am anymore. Blend back in.
Just wear that tartan tie, I'll be all set. So, girls, we have the president of the Holyoke Parade Committee here. Do you have any questions? I probably should have told you that before. You could have thought of something, right? Nothing?
Is it overwhelming having everything, like, not kind of like on you for responsibilities, but like you're like the head of it? So is it overwhelming to have to put together this whole big thing?
I am blessed that I have the members of the committee that have done such a terrific job this year. This has been a great year for me, and that does not come without any hard work and dedication. They have been relentless on making this happen, and without them, this wouldn't happen. Here's another thing, it's something you want to think about. A collaborative effort with all the regional committees, including West Springfield, makes this parade continue, brings us into our 67th parade this year, and that's the type that we're looking for. We need all that help to make this work.
So how does the Holyoke kind of parade committee work? You're from Chicopee, so you don't have to be from Holyoke to be on the parade committee?
No, they take members in. Obviously, we're gonna take members in from any community to help us out. Whether you're Irish or not, on our day they want to be Irish and walk down the street. We have so many great people out there, and it makes it work well for us and for the community as a whole. This impacts financially Western Mass every year, and it's a tremendous thing. We're a bunch of volunteers that take away our personal time from our families and our lives to make this happen. This is a 12-month parade in organizing and getting everything together. Once this parade is over on Sunday, we'll start planning for next year and years after that.
Is it really good to have Holyoke Parade Committee members that have been committee members like on a town or city that are involved in the parade, so they at least know what's going on and they have, good organization for organizing their section? Is that what the Holyoke Parade Committee is looking for?
Holyoke is looking for a lot of dedicated members that really want to come in and carry on the legacy of honoring the patron saint of Ireland, St. Patrick, and all the festive Irish activities that Holyoke, through tradition, have been doing for over 60 years. This will be the 67th parade, and
Yep.
I think that we'll take anybody that with us will want to help us complete and make that mission every year.
Good organizational skills are a plus.
Yeah. So it's almost like the other parade committees are the JV, and then the
Yeah, exactly.
Holyoke parade committees are you're on varsity.
Well, you know what? We need the other. Here's how it works. Every regional committee has members from their committee that are also what we call the liaisons officers or members between each committee, but they're a part of Holyoke. They're a member of Holyoke. So we have a little bit of people. We have people from West Springfield that are Holyoke members. We have people from Westfield, Chicopee, Springfield, all over that are helping us make this happen and also organizing their communities for this big weekend. And without that, that part of that success is why we're here.
Right, that's what I was going to say. That's why it continues to work, is because there's that constant communication going on year round.
Yeah, and we get that. There's a lot of events. I've myself have supported events over here in West Springfield. From celebrity bartending that affected and fundraiser for both Agawam and West Springfield and other communities.
Yep.
We try to share and work together as a team in unity, and that's how that's going to work.
My cousin was a parade committee chair in Chicopee a couple of years ago, and it was just a year, and he said it was a solid year, and he was thanking people that he had on his committee and then the Holyoke committee. He said it's just, for one person it's overwhelming. You need a ton of people to continuously pull off a parade like this.
I think the extension of our arm too with that is the regional committees and keeping close ties to them by having them not only be members of their committee but come over here and be a part of Holyoke so they see both sides of the river, so to say.
Right.
And that has worked effectively for us, and we're going to continue with it. And that is great community spirit to show who we are, and we're proud. The people in this area are proud of where they live and where they came from, and they don't forget that.
Absolutely. I think that's, and so again, like I say, while I'm not Irish, I definitely feel Irish this month with all the stuff that's going on. And everywhere I go, and I see Ed Sullivan over here, our former mayor who is Irish, everyone's very welcoming and they want you to have fun and take part and enjoy the week. And I guess enjoy the month, essentially.
It's a pleasure when you are Irish and see many people like yourself being involved in doing what you're doing, giving your own time to do what you did to help raise money for the parade committees, to support this, have the call-ins here in West Springfield on your show. And we're very thankful and grateful that we have people that continue to do that year after year to support us, because we need all the help we can get at any time, and we've had it, and we're thankful.
All right, so before you go, I know you have a big thing going on over in Holyoke. Girls, any questions?
I thought of a question. I know we talked about how the road race is continuing to grow. Are you still looking for opportunities for other people to march in the parade and have the parade continue to grow?
So right now we have a very long parade. Most parades across the nation is about 2 hours, a 2-hour window. Ours is about 3 to 3.5 hours.
Wow.
What we're looking at is one of our biggest challenges is the weather. I don't know how long people are going to stay out in the cold and watches more than 3.5 hours. We get a tremendous amount of people. We bring in thousands of people into the city of Holyoke, and from around not only the region but all over the state and other states around us. And I think where we are right now is a good place for us. We always like to bring in our local marchers and keep this thriving, but it comes to a point where how long is a parade going to go? I mean, in my eyes, I'd like to make a 24-hour parade, but in real life, that's not going to happen. But we're at a point where we're doing well right now, and we have to continue that. And the only way we're going to do that is with a collaborative effort with everybody around here that wants this parade to stay here. It will remain here, and we're doing strong here. And we're thankful for the founders in Holyoke that started this, and this has been a huge thing. I remember this when I was a kid growing up in Holyoke, and then I went across the river and never came back. So this is my time to prove that I am back in Holyoke and show some of my roots.
That's a great question, Jen. I didn't know the parade was that long. I do know in 2014, I think it was, I marched with Agawam. I was working in Agawam, not because I'm from Agawam. And they were last. And I remember it was sparsely attended at that point. I think it was cold, and I think everyone was like, we don't want to see Agawam, we don't really care. But I think I didn't realize it was because it was so long that people they've been there all day. I know people they have their spots on Route 5. They hold them. They wait all night. They leave their chairs. I mean, there's a ton of tradition here.
All weekend. What are you talking about?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, for the road race first, and then the parade, which is an awesome tradition to have around here. But just to know that it's 3.5 hours is a lot.
Will, we're going to give you an opportunity next year when you go from right after and from D division back down to the bottom, and you'll see how long it is at that point. I said I'm very happy.
I really appreciate that. That's so great that you could do that for me.
I'm very happy though to see West Springfield, behind Holyoke this year and right at the top of the regional committees, especially now that I have a little part of West Springfield. I'm connected to not only Chicopee and Holyoke, but I'm now connected to West Springfield, and I thank you a lot and the town of West Springfield for everything they do. I'm currently employed for them, and I'm happy about it.
Awesome. Awesome. I don't want you to be late. We'll take a quick break so we can change it out. I really appreciate you coming, Tim, and thanks for joining us on all the Colleens.
You're welcome.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. Visit on the web at baystatedental.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
He rules the roost on Thursday from 6 till 10. It's Patrick Berry.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
All right, we are back on the air now. We just had Tim with us. He does work for the town of West Springfield, former police officer for Chicopee, and now president of the parade committee. And now joining us, we still have the Colleens with us. Now joining us, we have Sean Powers, who's going to borrow Lauren's microphone, and Ed Sullivan, who will borrow Megan's. Ed Sullivan, for those of you who don't know, and there's probably very few of you, is the former mayor of West Springfield, my old boss when I was a town attorney. And Sean is now a district at-large city councilor and also the assistant town attorney in Agawam. So, but they're also, more importantly, they are on the Sister City Commission for or committee, whatever we call it, that we're now sister cities with Dingle. So they're two of the people that helped make this happen. And the first I'm going to let Ed talk. I know we got a bunch of notes over there, and Megan's going to have to do some reading too. But tell us a little bit about, I'll just let you kind of go because I'm sure you got a whole program up already.
Thank you, Mr. Merrick. Great to see you in the AM. Usually it's PM time, but when the clock changes, so it's great to be here with the Colleens and Sean and everyone else in the room. So Sister City is a international organization which was started by President Eisenhower. Now I'm going to cue in Megan, who's one of the Colleens, and she's going to read you a short script here of how it was started and when and why by President Eisenhower.
Hi, everyone. Sister Cities International was founded as a presidential initiative by President Dwight D. Eisenhower on September 11, 1956, at the White House Conference on Citizen Diplomacy to create more community-led global relationships so that people of different cultures could appreciate their differences and build partnerships that would lessen a chance of new national conflicts. Sister Cities International, as described by President Eisenhower, is for people to get together to work out not one method, but thousands of methods by which people may gradually learn a little bit more of each other.
Thank you, Megan. Appreciate that. So Sister City is a 501c3 organization, and Attorney Powers, who is here with us today, is going to be submitting paperwork. So our West Springfield Sister City organization will also become a 501c3 organization, so folks can become members and donate, and it'll be a tax write-off. And hopefully, we're looking forward to that boostering our membership. So this was signed into act or resolution by the West Springfield City Council in 2017 as proposed by Mayor Reichelt. So we're off and running. Now, the Sister City organization is actually an umbrella for any relationships we want to develop with any other cities across the globe. So we started with Dingle because there's a lot of family that came from the Kerry area, the Kerry County and Cork area of Ireland that settled into Western Mass and particularly West Springfield. So we believed it'd be, kind of an easy lift to get us off and running, and it's shown to be thus far very beneficial to West Springfield as we've traveled over there. Attorney Powers was with us, and maybe he could comment quickly on the experience while we were there.
Being able to go to Ireland and represent West Springfield as part of a delegation and actually meeting, I believe we met the mayor of Dublin, the Lord Mayor of Dublin.
You believe we did, or?
Well, we met the mayor of Dublin for certain. I remember that. We met the mayor. We met the former mayor of Kinsale. We met the mayor of the Lord Mayor of Kerry County. We met with some tourist officials. We met with marketing officials. We met with the business development directors. And any time that you have the opportunity to increase both academic and economic relations, because we also met with the high school officials where our students have been going or will be going for the second time this upcoming spring. So it was really a great opportunity to be a part of, and I'm honored to be able to do it.
So Ed, could you tell us a little bit, what was the idea behind originally doing a sister city? Because we're not a sister city with anyone. I know a lot of other communities are. When I was in Israel in November, Bethlehem has 56 different sister cities, and we have none. So what kind of gave you the idea to do that, besides being Irish?
Well, the whole idea behind sister cities and growing global relationships, which would help both cities, the one that we unite with, and actually over in Ireland they call it twinning. We call it sister city they call it twinning, which is kind of an odd thing. Took us a while to get used to that, but anyway, it's going to help both communities develop culturally. Through the arts, as Sean mentioned, with student exchanges, but also, interestingly enough, through economic development. We were over there. We had one of our liaisons from the West of the River Chamber with us, John Weiss, and in May, the delegation will be coming over here to visit with local business people from the Dingle area. Now, interesting also is Dingle is only a community of 1,900 in the village, but on the peninsula there's about 5,500, 6,000. So this is going to touch a lot of lives. Hopefully it'll spur economic development, and this was kind of the idea behind it, to develop relations. I know the Eastern States Exposition already has some of the vendors come to their booth, and they're hoping to increase vendor participation also in the actually for this coming fair.
I know when we visited Ireland back in 2016, we definitely helped out their economic. We definitely spent a lot of money when we were there.
That's good. You pump some money into the system. But one of the other things, and is particularly from the folks from Dingle, they're looking to spur some other business opportunities over and above tourism, like IT and those sorts of things, and a business incubator that they've started there, and they want to come over here and see how we do it on this side of the Atlantic. So we're really looking forward to their visit and exchanging ideas with them as they come over.
And what was interesting, too, what I found is they kind of have the same problems that we talk about we have, like, the brain drain in the Pioneer Valley. So I'm sure a bunch of you are going to college outside of the Pioneer Valley. Hopefully some stay, but you go, and a lot of people don't come back. And Dingle has that same issue over there, of people leave Dingle. I don't know why you would.
My grandma left Dingle. She was not a fan. She left as soon as she could.
Yeah, but that was probably a while ago,
Yeah,
right?
it was, I think, 1953. I know it was a couple years after Ellis Island closed.
Yeah, so people, and even kids now, like kids your age, or whatever year they're in over there, you tell me 4th year, 5th year,
Yeah.
they're leaving, going to Dublin, and they're not coming back to Dingle. So they have that same type of issue that we have, where we would have a lot of young people in the workforce. But also, interestingly, now you say leaving Dingle, I know a lot of people have left Dingle, the Blasket Islands, and we have our own, essentially like a history buff here of what happened and why. So Sean, can you just tell us a little bit about the brief history of the Dingle Peninsula and the Blaskets?
I don't really think there's enough time, especially if Sean Kathleen was here. He was really instrumental when we were over there about explaining the history. But the Blasket Islands was essentially its own community. A lot of Blasket Island natives settled in Springfield, and we have a lot of involvement here at the Irish Cultural Center from those relatives. And it really kind of carried over to Dingle and Carey County itself in terms of the notoriety that the Islanders had. But really, I mean, Dingle and the Carey County area has been very vital and important to Western Mass, and I think it's I think it's a good thing, the Sister City program. So.
And we could talk about like the whole Uniting Ireland and everything, but I want to get political. So.
Well, we could, and that's why I said I don't think it's really a brief story, but it's enriched in history, and the Irish people have a rich culture, and it's great to have heritage from there, and it really is. It's a good time of the year too.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is when we were there, we noticed that the Irish people preserve everything. They save everything, even back to their pagan times with their mythology and myths and fairies and those sorts of things. And even when Christianity came into play with St. Patrick and after, they still maintained some of those myths, and we still talk about them today. Leprechauns, and they have the Olm rocks, which were engraved as a type of alphabet 5,000 years ago or whatever it is. So it's great to see a culture that preserves so much and brings it forward, because then you can kind of play into the past as they move forward with technology and those sorts of things. So it's pretty interesting the way they do it, and hopefully they'll bring some of that culture and arts to West Springfield.
So really, what is the next step for the Sister City Committee now? Now that we've been to Ireland, we've signed the agreements, what happens next?
Well, once they come over here and we introduce them to some of the players they're interested in, when I say players, I mean contacts, I think then what we do is we make this a living, breathing agreement. Not to disparage anybody, but when Springfield signed on with Tralee, they kind of, it kind of phased out and nothing happened. Well, in West Springfield, we're going to ensure that it's ongoing. We maintain the relationships. We bring people back and forth, the student exchanges, but also the businesses. We have, not that this is, because St. Patrick's Day is coming up, but the Dingle Distillery is very interested in developing relationships over here and coming over, and they've already indicated they're going to come to the eastern states this year. They're filling out an application as we speak, because they're 4 hours ahead of us. So, so the important thing will be to continue to maintain communication between us and them, and to continue to try to develop enhancing each other's communities, whether it's through the arts, culture, or through economic development, which I believe is key.
I have a question. Why did you choose Dingle?
Well, Dingle was because so many families have come from the Cary County and that area. It seemed when we got off and running, because our organization is an umbrella, we could have picked any city, so it's a great question. We could have gone to Budapest, but because there's families and relationships, well, I know Budapest is random, but that's,
or another city in Ireland.
Another city in Ireland, but because of the relationship and ties and the legacies over the years, we seemed like we wanted to get off on a good foot. We have the Irish Cultural Center here now, although we had planned this prior to this being up and running, but now this is a great hub to interact with them and work through it. And I might say they've done a beautiful job fixing this up. I guess Trinity Pub, I digress for a minute, was named after not the college, but after the 3 volunteers who actually did all the work here. But to your question, that's why we thought it would be a great success story, and then it might lead to other sister city relationships. As the mayor said, some communities, whether it's LA or other places in the world, they have 30, 40. Chicago, I believe, has like 35. So we might develop other relationships. As you also know, we have a very diverse community now. So there'd be opportunities for other folks to build on our success and move forward with other relationships.
Other questions? Haley was thinking of it early. So
The whole time I had that.
perfect. This is a great question to ask.
I was waiting to pounce in.
No, that's a great question.
So Sean, since you're the youngest of the 3 of us over here, of the ones out of high school, we have our colleague in our court here. What's kind of the role that the kind of next generation can play, not only the sister city relationship we have, but also kind of new politics in general, getting involved in the community? What can they do to help kind of, since we're talking about the sister city relationship, kind of build that and bring it out into the community?
Well, I mean, when I was over there, I had the opportunity to speak to a few local doctors, pediatricians, a few real estate investors, and it seems like they're experiencing some of the same issues or problems that we have in terms of blight, but also in terms of what you were talking about earlier, Mayor, which is returning to the community with good skills that you can apply and then really bring about growth in your community. In terms of being one of the younger individuals, I would say from what I've seen in both West Springfield and from Cary County and Dingle specifically, is the reinvestment that each area is looking to make in their young people, whether it's because they're entrepreneurs or they've had something successful, and the municipality or the region is looking to bring them back to continue that growth and benefit positively from it. So as a young person, both politically and economically, stay involved. Remember that there are always people older than you that have been involved for some years that are really looking to help you grow, and you're not on your own. And I think this is a great example of that. From the sister city relationship, we've had vendors coming to the Big E for years, but we're looking to increase that. I think they're going to increase that this year. We have the Dingle Distillery that's looking to come over. We have students that are looking to go, like I said, for the second time back to Dingle. So I really think there's a lot of opportunities that are available to young people, and it comes from both the private sector but also the public sector. And I would just like to emphasize that as a young person, sometimes I think you believe that maybe those benefits or that assistance isn't there for you. So it's good to remember that.
Sorry, I'm not typing my phone here. I'm trying to interact with our viewers that are watching us live now. I want to thank you to Channel 15 here for streaming that out. But I'm being told a break, so we'll take a quick break and we'll be back.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore at Westfield State University, right here in the Ely Campus Center. Whether you're a student, faculty member, or friend of the university, it's the place to shop. Everything from Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise to all of your academic needs. Offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Visit the bookstore on campus or online at www.westfieldstate.bncollege.com. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Wally Computer Associates, one of the largest technology providers in North America. Headquartered in Southwick, Wally provides all of the products and services that you'd expect from a world-class technology partner to schools, colleges, businesses, as well as state and local governments and agencies. Wally Computer Associates, meeting all of your technology needs. On the web at WCA.com.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut shops of Westfield and the Sardina family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
All right, we're back. Jenna's telling us about her awful flight to Ireland the first time where they flew to Toronto. That just seems odd.
Yeah, the layover situation, and then when we got to Ireland, the driving situation just wasn't
I heard
ideal.
you guys all slept
10
the whole ride.
hours.
Yeah, nobody slept on the flight, but then once we were on the bus, everybody just fell asleep.
I think I tried to stay up, and then I was like, oh, it's just all sheep that we're seeing, so I'm just going to go to bed.
Yeah. But I know to the people there, it was crazy that we had driven from Dublin to Dingle in one day. And we were telling them that we do things like drive to the beach, 2 hours away just for one day and then drive home, because apparently they don't do anything like that there.
Well, the roads are so dangerous.
Yeah, it was scary driving in the car.
I got so car sick because you're sitting in this big bus and it's just shaking back and forth, and then all of a sudden you look out and you're on a cliff and you're like, oh my god.
Sean, that's almost like our ride.
Come on now, come on. Your driver was awesome. A few white knuckle moments, but other than that, it was good.
Did you all go to Connor Pass too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove up around there.
It was
kind
of terrible.
So I have a brief story about Connor Pass. So we're going to switch over to Ed Sullivan here, who's got more to tell us about the Sister City Committee. So I've always heard about it and Dingle and the Blasket Islands because Sean Kaylane, the president of the ICC, was from there, and then we have our building inspectors from there as well, and so are a lot of people. But we got up to Connor Pass. They say how beautiful it is, and it was amazing. Gorgeous, looks out over the whole peninsula, but it's so windy. You can barely, I had to push my door. And over in Ireland, no one litters. The island is so clean. Dublin, Dingle, everything's so clean. And Ed Sullivan here is a huge promoter of Ireland. We couldn't litter, and of course we wouldn't anyways. But he goes to open the door to get back in the car, and all of a sudden it goes boom. The rest of our directions to get back to the Shannon are whirling all through the air over Connor Pass, and it was fun. I just had a video of Ed chasing the paper, and I'm like, oh, it's not a big. He's like, my name's on that.
Right. My name was floating all across the Dingle Peninsula, so some farmer probably picked it up as he was going out to herd his sheep, or maybe the dog did while he was herding the sheep. But it was a little embarrassing. But because it's so pristine over there, everything's clear. There's no litter. And one thing that I did notice the last time I was there, which was pointed out to me, when you're driving, and of course the roads are treacherous if you're going on the back roads, not the motorways, is that, and of course this is for all you young ladies, maybe Sean, but nobody was texting and driving. and rarely was anybody on their phone. Everybody was paying close attention to their driving because of the hairpin turns and the narrow roads and all that. So not a single person texting and driving in Ireland. It was pretty interesting. I understand why, because of the road works, but still it was.
Do they drive automatic or not? Yeah, or like standard.
Most of them drive standards if they're from there. One of the things they mentioned to us is they knew we were from the U.S. for 2 reasons. We were driving slow, and our car was new, and the only reason it was new because it was a rental. So they could always tell when the foreigners are there because of the rental cars, and you're not accustomed to the roads. But the people there, they were kind of whipping around.
Oh, they fly. And they got little cars, but they're whipping them around, and they pull over at the last minute.
They
I mean,
also-
Sean we couldn't tell. We were in the back seat, so.
They also told us that most kids don't get their license until after they graduate high school. Only like 3 of the kids even drove to school.
Yeah, they have they have a big N on the car, which means novice. We couldn't figure it out. I think they should have put an N on our car.
Or T, tourist.
Or tourist,
No idea
right.
what we're doing.
Right. Actually, that would be a good thing, tourists. So I believe in Germany they have like oblong plates for people who are like renting a car or something like that, so that they know you're a tourist when you take the car on like the Autobahns and those sorts of things. I'm not sure about that, but I haven't been there in. Well, I
My
haven't
dad
been there
tried to
since
get me
Sean was born, I guess.
My dad tried to get me one for my car here in West Springfield, and I said no.
No, we can make that possible if you want.
That's pretty
I've had my license for over a year now, so
you'd
I
probably
think
be
I'm
a
okay.
learner, right?
I
Well,
think in Ireland
learner
it's
and
2
novice.
years they have the novice on there.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So
You got
we still got a year left.
Yeah, we saw some cars with an N and an L, a novice learner, so you'd probably fit in that category.
Wow.
But so anyway, back to the sister city organization, our West Springfield organization. We're going to have the group here, as I mentioned before, in May. We believe they're going to come over May 13th. And we just want to throw it out there to anybody who's listening, and even you young ladies, anybody who'd like to participate, and it'd be great if you would come, and anybody who wants to join in on any of the activities or tours or visits that we're making, we're going to throw that out there on the web and West Springfield website. Okay, I'm a little older.
On the left.
And you're also, once we put it out there, you're certainly contact the mayor's office to indicate if you want to participate in any of it. We'll probably have it's still tentative, but we're going to look to visit with the Chamber of Commerce, and we're also looking to go to probably UMass Amherst. It'd be a regional thing, just like it was when we were there. It's not going to be just specific to West Springfield, but we're going to try to involve other folks. We already have commitment from the Tourism Bureau of Western Mass to agree to meet and exchange ideas and focus so that they can participate back and forth with the relationship. So we're going to have a lot of activities going on, and we'll post an agenda for that. And once you look at that, we're also looking for people that might want to not just participate in the tour of the activities, but also might want to join the organization. Because as was suggested, there's possibilities for other sister city relationships. And if somebody wants to come on and decide that they like what's going on with our Dingo relationship and they want to propose another one, we actually have bylaws that Attorney Powers will be using when he files for the 501c3. And so there's opportunities to grow our relationship with other communities across the globe. I guess they say think globally, act locally.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so we're really looking forward to this working. So anyone else who wants to participate, just contact the mayor's office for now. We will be setting up our own website, email address. That'll be coming in the next few weeks, so people will be easier for you to contact us. So we're really looking forward to that and kind of advancing this cause. So, I mean, it's going to be good for West Springfield. There's no question about it.
Absolutely. And I think one thing we'd all like to do, and definitely because Sean is the biggest advocate of the history and culture of Ireland, as along with Ed Sullivan here, but is to do a discussion kind of our trip to Dingle and to Ireland itself, so people in town can kind of understand why we did this and what we're going to benefit from it and what they're going to benefit from it. And it'd be good to have kind of the girls that have gone to be there as well to kind of advocate for why it's so important to go over and experience this. But for the ones that are coming over, what do you girls think that they should experience why they come over here?
You said why people from Dingle should come to Western Mass?
What should they see?
They should come, but what should they see when they come?
Oh.
From your perspective.
I know they said they don't
right?
really have malls in like Dingle
they
and
went to
stuff.
the
Like,
malls.
Yeah, they
Clothes
thought it
are
was like
cheaper,
crazy that we had a mall. Like they didn't understand what it was because girls that when we went to Dingle, there was a basketball team that had come over here the year before, and they went to Boston, they went to New York, but they mentioned the mall, and they were like, "That was the craziest thing we've ever seen," and so they could definitely experience that.
Yeah, or probably maybe see some like local sports games, like especially the sports they don't have as much in Ireland. Like, I don't think they play field hockey, or I don't know if they play ice hockey or not. I know we tried to teach a private school how to play lacrosse. They have like a private girls' school that we visited. So definitely check out some things that are maybe not just specific to Western Mass, but just the United States as a whole, just to experience that different culture.
The Big E would be a total culture shock.
But they do eat a lot of fried food. We did have, I think, like fried Snickers or something.
Yeah.
At a diner.
Really? Fried Snickers?
Yeah.
You should tell us where that happened.
Wish I knew where that was.
Also, didn't you guys, I think we were talking about it one time, you said they don't really eat like breakfast foods very often.
It's like really different. Where we stayed at a host family, and she had like a kitchen downstairs that we had for breakfast, and like she thought that all we ate was Nutella. Like she thought Americans were obsessed with Nutella.
They thought like Nutella was like all we had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I was like, I never have Nutella, so this is like a treat for me. That is all we ate. Yeah.
Well, no, we were over there. It was whenever I go to a different country, it's interesting to experience. I guess one thing is their breakfast. So, Sean, I don't remember what a traditional Irish breakfast was, but I'm sure you can tell everyone what
I certainly
we had
can.
it a bunch of times.
So it usually consists of eggs, ham, sausage, blood sausage as well, with black or white, and fried tomatoes, I believe. And it's like you're eating. It's not just like 2 eggs scrambled with a side of sausage. It's actually a full meal. It's one of my favorite too. And baked beans.
And what were the black and white things that we had in the plate?
Pudding,
there?
right?
Pudding.
Yeah.
Blood sausage.
Yeah, it's a sausage. They call it pudding.
I mean, I ate it. I just don't remember what it was.
It's consists of a variety of different animal parts. I would say probably.
I think they offered that to us while we were there, but a lot of us definitely said no. Just
I
when
got it at a
someone told us
restaurant
what
one
was in
time.
it.
Never ever ask what's in the sausage.
I know also
Good
what a
advice.
lot of people don't know is that corned beef and cabbage isn't what they have for dinner every night in Ireland. That's like not even a traditional meal for them. I know, I guess that's an Americanized version of an Irish meal. I know I also went to an Irish restaurant in Disney World once, and I know that sounds different, but it was like a real Irish restaurant, and they didn't have corned beef and cabbage there either.
Did they have a traditional Irish breakfast?
We went for dinner, so I did not ask to check out the breakfast menu, but they had like Irish dancers dance on the table. That was pretty cool. It was called Raglan Road, if anyone's going to Disney soon.
I was just there actually about a year ago. Fantastic place. I can't attest to whether they have the Irish breakfast or not. I was there after dinner, but
Sean went for the dancers on the table.
they wouldn't let me.
They wouldn't let you dance at the table?
No, they
That
wouldn't.
was a
No, they
good
would not.
thing.
That was a good thing.
Yeah. So our two Irish experts here, is corned beef and cabbage a traditional Irish meal, or is that an American thing?
It's an American thing, and it might have been started in New York City. I have to do some research on it, but I think it had to do
New York
with
City or New York State.
Yeah.
As
It's from New
they
York.
realized how much they had here, and they started eating cuts of meat instead of just whatever they had around.
Right, and the salted meat and that sort of thing. So it's definitely a U.S. thing, and I agree it started in New York or New York City, and then it's expanded all across the country in Boston. But anyway, so yeah, it's a U.S. version of St. Patrick's Day and all that kind of good stuff that goes with it. I don't think if you wanted to be a vegan, Ireland wouldn't be the place to go.
No, I don't think so at all.
Well, I'm being told we're going to take another break, and we'll come back, and I'm going to have Sean.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly.
Support for community programming on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com. With the Xfinity Double Play and Xfinity Triple Play, you can choose to bundle Comcast services for a great value. Experience Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Explore all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area on the web at Xfinity.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
He rules the roost on Thursday from 6 till 10. It's Patrick Berry.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
So actually, now that it says live from the campus of Westfield State, we're not actually at Westfield State again. We're at the Irish Cultural Center. If you can probably tell if you're watching us on our live stream here, this isn't the campus of
on either one of the Channel
State.
15s?
What's that?
Either one of the Channel 15s?
Either one of the, yeah. If you're watching us on community television, you'll notice that there's a bar behind us, and that's not at Westfield State. But speaking very briefly, since we have someone from Westfield State here, Trustee Sullivan.
Oh, that's right. Almost forgot.
So we have a trustee who's part of this.
This is his first time probably on WSKB.
It is my
the
first
campus
time.
radio station.
And we're still in West Springfield, too.
Yeah.
So.
That's right.
Technology is great.
It is. It's awesome. I love it.
So Sean, I know when the girls were here, I was going to ask you about the famine, but you just want to talk briefly about that and kind of the culture that brought people to West Springfield. I mean, because since this is kind of an Irish theme this week, since we're in the Holy Week.
Yeah. So I mean, Ireland really had numerous famines. I'd say half a dozen, maybe close to a dozen over the last 250 years. But in the 1800s, there was certainly, I think 6 smaller famines, with the major famine really happening in the 1880s, and that's the one that you hear about today.
Started in 45.
Started in 45. But there were ups and downs, and I think the worst of it really happened in the 1880s. And
actually, the worst, not to interrupt.
Yes, no, please.
Was Black 47.
Okay.
The potato famine, the first blight was about 30% of the island in 45, and then it got progressively worse. And 1847, they called Black 47 because it was devastating, and hundreds of thousands of people died. Some whole villages were wiped out by the famine, and a lot of the folks who tried to leave the island, come to America or Canada, they died on the boats on the way over because of the horrific conditions. So it was pretty devastating. And while we were there, and maybe you could comment, Sean, we had the opportunity, as I mentioned before, the Irish State Preserve Everton, one of the old workhouses where they brought the folks in to try to work for food. It was right on in Dingle, downtown Dingle almost.
Yes, it was, and it was actually a pretty eerie site to visit. Walking through and getting a tour from the tourism board, and the representative there was, it's about 150, 170 years old. It was built in the early 1800s, and the primary purpose of it was to be that the Irish people didn't want to gain entrance there because it was almost a means of last resort. But the famines were so bad that people actually camped outside and waited. And the unfortunate aspect, once you gained access, you usually didn't come out alive. And if you went there with your family, you were separated once you entered. So they really, it was really stark to be there. You can certainly feel, kind of the dark atmosphere that surrounds the building. And actually, I think Ireland's Historic Commission is going to invest some money into that building in Dingle, and I think they're going to try and make it a business office and development location. Which it's got a beautiful view. I think back in the 1800s, it's certainly not what anyone that was there was thinking. But it was a good building to see. Just to kind of remind you of the history.
Right. It was interesting to me. I didn't realize how important it was to the Irish when we first went there. It was in disarray, and as Sean mentioned, they're looking to rehab the place. It's going to cost them millions and millions to bring it back up to speed because it hasn't really had any attention paid to it over the last few decades or many decades. But the importance of that building as a monument to the potato famine, I didn't realize till I came back and actually did a little research. on the famine and the workhouses. How and now I understand why they want to preserve it, kind of as a memory to them of what had happened and the way it played out, starting at 45 and over the next decade or so. It's really part of their legacy and how many millions of people. I guess Ireland's the only country that's population has been reduced. They were over 8 million people when the potato famine started, and now they're about 6.5 million throughout the country.
And I think with that being said too, I think the average height of the Irish actually too during those years decreased due to the poor nourishment.
Right.
From the lack of food.
Right. It's interesting too, not to get into the political part of it because it's supposed to be a joyful season, but as you look at some of the Irish were supposed to be part of the UK or England at the time, and the Prime Minister Peel actually tried to help the starving Irish. He was the Prime Minister at the time, and then the Liberal Party, I believe that. Supplanted him with Prime Minister Russell. Now, Liberal for them was different from our Liberal Party in so much as they were looking for free trade, and they didn't want to ruin the free trade market by giving away food, so they were charging money. And of course, the Irish, they weren't eating, they couldn't work, and so it was a flawed system. So that's one of the reasons so many people starved from the courts and the hierarchy in Westminster. They had this plan, and it was a flawed plan, and that's one of the reasons so many of the Irish perished during that time. So the workhouses, not to elaborate, but since we got some time, was run by the locals, landlords and those sorts of people, and there was a battle going on because they had to raise money to run these workhouses through taxation. Now, the locals tried to keep the taxation low, but the English wanted it high, so there was always a constant battle relative to how they were going to get the money to run these workhouses, and many of them failed just by virtue of lack of funding. So it was kind of devastating. Obviously, you can see the history as you go along. So,
yeah, it was very interesting for me even that I obviously I knew about the famine, but to be over there and kind of hear from the Irish and hear more from not just their side, but kind of a deeper perspective of what was happening I found very interesting.
Yeah. Still affects them very much. They're still in their minds, they're still extremely upset about what went on during the period. I mean, they had no problem voicing that, and here we are 150 some odd years later, 160 years later, and they're still disturbed by the way it played out. So I guess that kind of played into some of the issues with the political atmosphere moving forward between the Irish and the British and the independence and those sorts of things. So
yeah, it probably played a little part in that.
A little part. I'm sure it did.
But switching gears a bit, now we're former mayors, city councilor. When we were over there, we had an opportunity to meet with their Lord Mayors, which was kind of interesting. So, I mean, you were the one that kind of set that up because you've been there before and done that. So tell us a little bit about their kind of mayorships.
Well, it's interesting because over here you're voted by the populace, which means everybody gets a vote, and then you vote your mayor into office. Over there, you vote for your councilors, and then among the council, they vote for their mayor. So a lot of times, depending on what county you're from, you have a mayor of that county, and sometimes they almost take turns, depending on which political party is in force. They say, okay, you can have it for this 3 years, then we're going to change it over to the Labor Party or the Conservative Party. But the council actually votes for the mayor of the county from those who are voted as councilors. Right. So it's kind of interesting. Now, I know that you were very impressed. They have these large chains that the Lord Mayor wears over there, which we don't have
here. This is something that we need to investigate, Sean. Now that you're on the council, we can appropriate some money to get a Lord Mayor chain.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive, actually. And whenever they're doing public service, they're always wearing the Lord Mayor's chain. Of course, they're called Lord Mayors, not just mayors. If we felt kind of a little underprivileged with the terminology, but it's pretty unique the way they do it over there. And the Lord Mayor of Dublin, of course, actually lives in the mansion, the Lord Mayor's mansion, which I believe has been around for 300 or 350 years. They had an anniversary a couple of years ago. I believe it was in conjunction with the 100th anniversary of the Easter Rising in 1916. But anyway, they get to live in the Lord Mayor's mansion in Dublin. They have a car assigned to them, which is donated or loaned from a local auto dealer, which you should look into also. Maybe
We got all these dealers on Route 5. I know. I just went to a Lexus event the other night. I said, this would be great
right.
in the mayor's parking lot.
Right. So that'd be pretty cool. And he also had a driver. I said, well, it must be tough driving in the traffic. Oh, I don't drive. I have a driver. It's almost insulted that I thought he drove his own car. And the other interesting thing, even though we're in the Irish Cultural Center, is the Lord Mayor's Mansion. They actually had their own pub with taps and everything to host and entertain visitors. And when you get to Dublin, that's an international city. So, of course, they have visitors from all over the globe. So they have an opportunity to entertain right there on the spot. And the Guinness company actually supplies beers for all the taps. I think there was 5 or 6. I didn't count, but so they do that each year, regardless of who the Lord Mayor is.
Yeah, and I think if I can just add on to that, I think Arthur Guinness's nephew or relative was at one point the Lord Mayor of Dublin, and I think that's where the promise for free flowing taps to run from the Lord Mayor's house in Dublin actually originated.
Right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
That was one thing that we didn't get to do. We didn't get to go to the Guinness factory and visit that, but it was interesting since we were mayors and the twinning group was over there. We were in Kinsale too. We got to meet with the last Lord Mayor of. Well, he was the last Lord Mayor of Kinsale, right?
Kinsale.
Right. That's correct.
The last one before they kind of turned over and changed their government.
Right. Well, it was from my recollection is the job was so demanding. He was expected to be at all the public events, similar to what you go to. However, it was only a part-time job, so he still had to run his business and then expected to be at all these public functions. So it became very difficult. So I believe that was the end of the Lord Mayorship in Kinsale.
And a little tie to the United States, I think his cousin was a firefighter during 9/11 that passed away.
Right.
And
no, he didn't pass away.
He didn't pass
Right,
away.
he didn't pass
Remember,
away.
because I said I thought he passed away, and
Correct,
he corrected
correct.
me. He said no, that was. Then we started.
Correct.
Talking
That's just a
about
memorial, but they have a really neat, a nice memorial wall in the back of. It's called the White House.
Yes.
In Kinsale, it's a really neat bar restaurant, and they have a really nice memorial to 9/11 in the back. For firemen to visit and police officers.
Yeah, so again, the link to the United States over the years is, you can see it everywhere you go almost over there. It's, of course, we did learn while we were in Kinsale that Attorney Powers doesn't know how to play darts. So
switching to Attorney Powers real quick.
Just me that couldn't play darts.
And I won, and I admitted that I can't play darts.
Painfully slow game.
But new council, you've been on the council for a little over 2 months now. How do you like it so far?
I like it a lot. We've had a couple immediate issues we've had to deal with, but it's been a great experience so far. There's certainly a learning curve, and thank God I have a great mayor and a great city council to back me up and to kind of analyze and learn from. And I have former Mayor Ed Sullivan here, who sometimes probably reluctantly answers a phone call.
Never reluctant. Always happy to help.
So it's been good. It's been good. It's hard to believe that we're 2 full months in and almost halfway through March, and it kind of makes me think that the next couple months will fly by as well. So.
That's good. It's a good experience.
It's nice that we have this streaming live. So, and like I tell everyone, we're live even when we go on break and we walk away. But it is definitely something that I think gets more people involved, and it's something now that we have for the council and for all our committees. That one complaint I've heard from people is that they don't know when things are happening and they don't know what's going on. But now that we have, I think, the rise of social media, as the mayor says, the web,
interwebs,
on the line. That we're able to interact more with people in general, and especially I think I'm glad that we're doing it not only in West Springfield here, but that we're able to stream this through our Channel 15, be online. And I mean, I tried answering, I was trying to see if we could get questions or not that come in, but it's difficult to kind of tell. But and briefly before your guys' hour is over, although you can stay and join me if you want for the last hour. Anything you want to add? Anything exciting coming up that we should all be aware of, the public should be aware of?
Well, I just want to mention, as you talk about social media, that Mayor Reichelt, phenomenal job of utilizing social media. And as you indicated, I believe this is going to, enhance, well, not just West Springfield, everybody's opportunity, also enhance our opportunity to work with our sister city or our twinning city, Dingle, as we communicate and use social media. I mean, this could be live streamed to them. They could pick this up over there. I mean, the opportunities are endless, and I want to acknowledge the mayor and his use of social media. So kudos to you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities to move forward with this, and we're seeing some of them right now, but there's going to be so many more.
You know, Mayor, if you'd let them know over there, you'd be the afternoon drive show over there. Or no, midday show.
Let's not go too far.
One last thing that I found weird, which was when we were over there, when that wasn't afternoon, but it was morning. That's just a cool thing when you go to different places, is that we're driving at like 8 a.m. and the sun's not out yet.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just...
That was a little disappointing because even though our colleagues were on the bus, when you go the back roads, and it's more than cheap. I mean, the landscape, it's beautiful. The the ocean, you come along there.
And it's what we always great is when you go with someone that lets you get out of the car and take pictures of all these wonderful places.
I let you out once.
Twice. Connor's Pass. And
right. Connor Pass,
Mountain,
which was, and the Wicklow Mountains, which was a pretty impressive ride. And, when you think of these places and as you drive through these back roads, you know that there used to be old cattle roads that were paved over. And to think of how they used to handle the terrain over the years before cars even, of course, I can't imagine driving a manual over there, but it's pretty impressive.
I think it's weird, like drive standard and drive it with a different hand is interesting.
Yeah, really test your coordination, your hand-foot coordination. So anyway. So I appreciate you having us here. It's been fun.
Thank you for joining me. You made it a lot easier on my part to have people here and talk about our wonderful trip to Ireland. And hopefully soon we'll have some information coming up. I know we just spoke with the Irish contingent this week about them coming over in mid-May, which would be great to have them here. And also we'll advertise more of that. So if the people, maybe we can do something. I know we got Bull Sullivan on next. I don't know where he went. But have a reception here for the people that are coming over, and if people are interested in town to kind of get to know the contingent, to ask more questions about what the sister city relationship is going to be, will be great. And we'll have more of that. Like we said, we'll have a website up, a social media, and all that. So
the public's welcome.
Yeah, and encouraged to attend, because that's what is going to, like you said, make this successful.
Right,
is partnerships with the community, but also people getting involved in the community as well.
Right, absolutely. So.
All right, we're going to take our 8 o'clock break, so we're right at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, WSKB Westfield.
That's all you gotta do. Mr. DJ, when you gonna spin it? My baby's favorite record, she been waiting for me. She invited all the friends, and I'm buying all the rounds, and they're all dolled up. DJ, please don't let me down. When you gonna play that song? When you gonna earn that pay? When you gonna play that song and make my day? She said, play that song, the one that makes me go all night long, the one that makes me think of you. That's all you gotta do. Play that song, the one that makes me stay until dawn, the one that makes me go ooh. That's all you gotta do. Hey, Mr. Guitar, when you gonna strum it? My girl just heard the song and you should play it, cause she loves it. Can you get me off the hook? Get them fingers picking, now I'll throw some money in your cup. Mister, please don't let me down. When you gonna play that song now? Why you gotta hesitate? When you gonna play that song and make my day? She said, play that song, the one
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. Visit on the web at baystatedental.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
All right, so we're back now, and now we have a real radio personality with us who knows what he's doing. So,
Yeah.
But also now the executive director of the Irish Cultural Center, and something we haven't talked about yet, kind of what you guys have done over the past, I should have had Ed bring this up, the history of what we've done here.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, 2015 that they started.
Correct.
And then in 2017 they opened?
Year ago.
Yeah, so a year ago now.
A year ago now.
So tell us a little bit about the Irish Cultural Center, the mission and all that.
Well, the mission of the Irish Cultural Center, first of all, thank you for having me on. Thanks for coming. Actually, thanks for coming here, because this is great doing a 3 or 4 hour show, whatever this turns into.
Yeah. It's going to be 4,
During the High Holy Week here, and it turns into the High Holy Month, and you start planning for this. I mean, I started January 15th, and we were already planning for these events that are going on around here. So a couple months worth of planning. But the Irish Cultural Center opened about a year ago to the public. But like you said, there was a process before that all the way back to 2015 where there was an RFP, and we won the bid from the city to open up the old Elks Club, what we're sitting in. They walked in before I got here and looked at it, and about 2 weeks later, they all said to themselves, what the heck are we doing here? But obviously, you can see what work was done by all volunteers. Who were dedicated to the Irish Cultural Center. They stripped this place to the studs and rebuilt it from the inside out. But the mission that they've decided since the Irish Cultural Center started back in 1999 over at the Elms College, so it's been around for 20 years, almost 20 years now, is to keep the arts alive, to keep the Irish arts and history and heritage alive. And that's what this place is going to be when it gets finished. I mean, everybody comes in and sees the pub, the Trinity Pub, and the Irish House Restaurant, which is what we are sitting in. But there is so much more to this building that is going to be open to the public soon. Between the big part is what I'm excited about is downstairs, which will be the library, the museum, and I think most importantly, the genealogy center, I think is going to be a huge selling point to keep people's heritage alive, because lots of people want to know where they're from. You guys talked a lot about Dingle and the Dingle Peninsula and County Kerry, and that's where most of Western Mass is got ties to, is County Kerry. Over at Hungry Hill, which is a big epicenter, I guess you could say, of the Irish here in Western Massachusetts. It's said that about 80% of the people that are Irish on Hungry Hill have connections to County Kerry. So, you guys talk about the Sister City program, which is huge for us, because that keeps the heritage alive here at the Cultural Center, and our work with the Irish government on a whole. When we talk about Dingle, we also talk about Dublin, because we work hand in hand with them to make sure that the Irish heritage, the Irish culture, the Irish arts, everything is kept alive, not just here in Western Massachusetts and our Irish Cultural Center of Western New England, but you guys mentioned before that there's about 6 million, a little bit more than 6 million people still in Ireland. Well, there's more than 100 million people who have Irish heritage worldwide. And between Dublin and doing what they want to do throughout Western New England, Massachusetts, the United States, but Canada and everywhere else, New Zealand and Australia, they want to keep that heritage alive worldwide. And that's what we are going to do, you know, Sean Callahan, who has started this as the president, we are building this to make the Irish heritage live for 100 years right here in this building in West Springfield. So that's kind of what we're doing.
And I would say one thing I remember when we first started this, I remember we had a big signing event and everything, but I remember when it was just, I remember it as the Old Elks, but I also remember the 2 years that they did work in here. It was, and we actually had visitors from Ireland. Martin Ferris was over here when it was just concrete and wood, and those some of the good old days now.
Yeah.
But it's just incredible to see the development over time and just to see the excitement in West Springfield, just of residents in West Springfield that I remember when we were building asked me, what's the Irish Cultural Center? What's going on there?
Right.
So I think, have you seen kind of an influx of people from this area that have started to come and make this their new home?
There's two answers to that question. Yes, absolutely. Obviously, West Springfield, we're in the heart of West Springfield, so we get lots of people who, you know, I live up the street or you know, something to that effect. But Chicopee, Holyoke, Springfield, Westfield, obviously, they are starting to come in. I get said to me more times, oh yeah, I just haven't gotten over there yet. Well, come on over now, because we are more of a destination for dinner or for music or for culture than a lot of people thought. The part right now is, we get them in the door with the pub and the restaurant, which is great. But then they realize what's going on inside the building. And I get to talk to them, or representatives from the center, you know, somebody from the board of directors or one of the volunteers will say, well, yeah, it's great food, it's a great time, but there's so much more to it, and they become interested in it, and they walk out of here with a patron form, and we get to see them again. But that's what it's all about, is to make sure that they know this place is here and that it's basically a living museum for the Irish people.
Well, even in experiencing like the culture live, the music you guys have, the sessions on Wednesday nights are awesome. If you haven't got a chance to experience that, I recommend it. But seeing it here and being here at the bar and having dinner, then we were over in Dingle. It was almost at every bar or every pub we went to, it was kind of the same. They had a little band playing live music, and it was, so you kind of recreating what's actually happening in Ireland, which is awesome.
The Sessions is a perfect example of it too, which will be happening tonight, by the way, folks. Because tonight
I was coming
Wednesday.
back for that.
Yeah, you should. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it or haven't listened to it, I'm biased because I work here. Go in yesterday's Mass Live or in the paper. Donnie Morehouse was here a couple weeks ago, and his article was in yesterday's Mass Live. So go on Mass Live and read his article. Somebody who has been and critiqued all sorts of music from all over the place. He was here with his wife, had dinner, and couldn't say enough great things about it. So it's not just me saying it, but
I can remember the days when there was a whole weekend festival up at the Holyoke Mall in one of the parking lots, all Irish music.
Well, don't get ahead of me
2
here,
days.
Pete,
but I can remember that as a kid. My aunt would bring me up there as a kid, and
they used to
have
have Irish feshes, is what they're called, dance contests or music contests, or big picnics is basically what it is. They used to have them right here years ago. So that's something that's on our radar screen. You will hear more about that coming up. But the sessions, if you can, come out tonight. We call it Walk-In Wednesday because people hear about it and they just come and show up and want to have dinner, which is great. So come on in. But John Tabb and Ellen Redmond put it together. They invite musicians. We have people that grew up in Ireland that love to play here. Southern Connecticut, there's a gentleman who makes a 2-hour drive just to come up here and play on Wednesday nights. People from the eastern part of the state come out. We like to call it the best sessions on the East Coast. We are a little biased, but we haven't had anybody argue with us yet either.
Yeah,
so,
has anybody called you on it?
No, they haven't called us on it.
Then guess what? You probably are.
And then they got to come and experience it for themselves if they want to have the fight with us. But Wednesday nights are great. Thursdays we're open. Fridays we're open. Saturdays everything opens up at 4:30 for food. There's always music here. On Saturday nights, some of the great locals in the area who love to play Irish music, we bring them in here and they have their own followings. And then Friday nights, 50-50 chance of having music in here. Now we like to leave a couple nights where just people can come in and enjoy the atmosphere of the place. So. Unless we're doing some kind of celebrity bartender on.
You beat my own town.
You did get beat in your own town, but I will, for bragging rights in your own town, you did beat the fire chief. I know he'll kill me, but that's okay. He was in here
We may have
last.
to have a rematch then.
Well, I think when you have the fire chief here, he's more for like, at least I open some bottles. He's kind of here and just talks.
That's
so
right. He does.
He's got his deputy with him, who I'm pretty sure is doing most of the work.
He does, and actually, he had the former chief with him last Thursday night too. So the three of them were back there, and they were slinging brews. So it was pretty good.
That's also a really cool event you guys go. And I know I'm not like a traveling celebrity bartender.
Lately, you have been.
It's like the whole thing doesn't work out.
You should get tip certified and get paid for it. Would you?
I actually am tip certified.
There you go.
For Rotary, yeah. But that's also a lot. It's a lot of fun for the bartenders, I think, just because it's I never bartended before. I always wanted to do it. I never will again. Only for celebrity purposes. But
I did it. I was in this business for a long time, and there's always, as Pete will tell you, there's always an extended vacation is what I used to call it.
Yes,
one
exactly.
of the jobs I did between that was I bartended over in downtown Springfield. So
the cool thing is, I think it gets, and especially for here, and I'm sure you know this because this is why we do it, but it gets people that otherwise might not show up to come.
Correct.
And it gets an otherwise night that might be a little slower. It makes it really busy.
It makes it really busy. That's one question I get all the time, and it's an obvious question: is do you have to be Irish to come here? No, you don't. We welcome everybody. We want everybody to come in because we want everybody to see what's on the inside of the building, and they may be interested and like it and come in all the time. So that's what we're looking for is to be busy.
Yes.
Like everybody else.
And as you said, the culture when we were over in Ireland, and I thought that because I had been coming here for long enough now and had been around West Springfield where everyone's Irish, I knew a lot about the Irish culture.
Yep.
But then to go over there and learn even more, and as Sean was talking about the famine, to learn more about what happened.
Right.
And to what I would imagine this is what will become that hub to kind of learn everything that's going on. I mean, you don't have, even stuff during the day, you have speakers come and there's all kinds of stuff going on here.
All of that downstairs with the library, museum, and genealogy center is all part of one big room. And part of that room is we'll set it up with podiums and enough seats and tables for everybody to come in to have lectures, to have poets, question and answer periods, historians, artists. There's going to be lots of people that will show up and continue on the programs to make sure that everybody who wants to know something has the certain opportunity just to do that. So that's in our future too.
Yeah, you've done a great job down there as well because it's a gorgeous little space.
It is a gorgeous little space. Again, I can't say enough about the people who just volunteer here because they're here longer than I am. They really are. The people who come in, I'm surprised one of them's not here already. Although I think he had jury duty. I couldn't get him out of jury duty, but yeah, they spend so much time here because they love it, and they want to make sure that it's done right. And if we're doing something around here, that's one thing that we've always said is that we're going to do it right, and that's what's gone on. And downstairs is, I think, a shining example of that.
And I've heard Will, Carrie, and Bev. I've heard their vision for 2 years, and to see it, and I was lucky enough to be here as it progressed, but to see what they would show me when this was all just roughed out 2x4s, this is going to happen here, and I'm like, okay, this sounds like it's going to be amazing, and then to see it slowly take form, even though I knew what was happening and kind of see it happen, was awesome to actually see the finished product. And
they can talk about building an 1890s dingle bar. Well, they did.
Yeah. They did. And after being in Ireland, they really did it. They made it so authentic and gorgeous, and everything, even from the snug to the stained glass, has been really, really cool.
Yeah, it is. And people come in, and one of the things we like to do, and one of the things people like, is I give them a tour of the whole building. And I start right here where we're sitting, and there's just some artifacts. The museum part is a live museum. Up on top of the fireplace here, up on the mantle, there is one harp. There's two harps up there. One of them is about 150 years old, right from Ireland. That I have been scolded that I need to take off of the fireplace. They are worried that it's going to dry out, so we'll find that. But the mirror behind the bar is from 1860s, a Louisiana plantation. There's a mirror over at the other end of the bar from 1812. So there's all sorts of things. There's a couple books down in the library from the 1600s. They will be under glass. They won't be able to be taken out and taken home. But that's part of the museum that's right from the island. So that's what we're trying to do here is keep that alive, and people are loving it. They really are. This is going to be a destination point for a lot of people in the near future.
Yeah, and there's more going on as well. So I would say, like, we'll take a. Pete's telling me we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the construction.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Rocky's Ace Hardware for all your winter snow removal needs. Plus, you'll experience our legendary helpful service in every department. Rocky's, rock solid service since 1926.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
He rules the roost on Thursday from 6 till 10. It's Patrick Berry.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Really applies either to me. All right, so we're back now and again not at Westfield State at the Irish Cultural Center. And we want to talk a little bit about, we talked about what they've done so far in here and how, I got to try to find the pictures I have of what it looked like as it was going on.
Actually, I've never seen a picture of that.
Really?
I've never seen what it was when they first got in here and ripped this place apart.
Yeah, someone, I know I got to try to find them, whatever phone they're on. But to see kind of, we were here for St. Patrick's Day 2016.
Yep.
And it was just, I probably shouldn't say this. I know we're supposed to be here or not, but we had a one-day liquor license.
Yeah.
We were here with Martin Ferris had come to visit, and all the department heads got together, and it was concrete. I don't think there was any heat, or maybe this heater was just in, and it was fun to be here and kind of see. And Bev and Will are here telling us about what the future of the place is going to look like. But to have been there in 2016, and now again, and it was a year later last year where this was done.
Right.
And to see kind of what they've done so far. But I know this is just kind of step one.
Right.
To get people here. So what is the
they like to call this one phase one, the restaurant and the pub. Phase two would be the library, which is almost done. They're actually putting all the books in the computer system right now. So that's the last thing to do for that. The lighting is finally up and the ceiling is done. So we're ready to go there. Phase three, which I am very excited about, is going to be more outdoors. The back of the building here, everybody remembers the Elks Club, and there's a huge field back there. Well, part of phase three is getting that field up and going for West Springfield Youth Soccer. There'll be the Springfield Rifles. People remember them, the rugby team out of Springfield. They'll be playing some games here, some Gaelic football. The Gaelic Athletic Association, which also is headquartered in Springfield. More of the teenagers than it is the adults playing. But so they'll be outside. But on the building itself is, and it was in the original plans, is we are going to build a patio. And when I say a patio, it's going to double the size of the restaurant that's inside. It's about 50 by 73. It's the width of the building. So we're very excited about this. We've already started with the plans, had some meetings, and figured out a rough budget, a very rough budget. But part of that patio that we're informing the mayor of this morning is that we're going to have a build-out of the building. So these four windows are behind us. You can't see them right now, but between the two entrances, we're going to take that wall down and go out 12 feet and add on to the building. So like we said, if we're going to do stuff, we're going to do it right. We figured the only way that we ever get more space in this restaurant, because sometimes there's just people sitting and waiting for a while because it's not the biggest restaurant in the world, is to add on to the building. So what we're going to do is do a 22 by 12 as a rough estimate of a build-out on the building, and there'll be more seats inside because that was kind of right next to the building, was kind of wasted space for us with the patio. So we said, why waste the space? So let's add to it. Bev, who is amazing with whatever she does, said, why don't we just make it bigger? And that's what we're going to do.
Wow. So right between this door and the entryway, you're going to bump that out?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. So
that was a nice surprise.
Yeah, wasn't it? So that's part of the plans that hopefully we can get going as soon as possible. If we can stop with these damn nor'easters and get the ground soft enough to build up the patio from 50 feet out from the building is a pretty good incline. So we've got to build a retaining wall that's about roughly, and we haven't got the exact design yet, about 7 feet. Build that up, put a retaining wall in so everything is just level, or as level as it needs to be. And then go from there. A fire pit, a big fire pit outside, the grill, a gas grill, a barbecue will be out there. There'll probably be a pergola of some sort because it does get sunny back there. It does get a little warm during the summertime. So we certainly have that in mind about how we're keeping everybody in the shade. You know, like Sean says, or I say, I could go out there for about 10 minutes and have to come back in because I will be scorched. That's just how we are. So it's very exciting. There'll be lights, there'll be music. We can move the music that's inside. We can move it outside. Obviously serve dinners outside and have everybody enjoy themselves for outside. Plus, if there's all that action going on the field, the parents or grandparents or whoever wants to come and watch a game can do so on the patio instead of bringing lawn chairs. They can sit at a table and have a perfect view of everything going on out there. So really excited
and a much
about
better
what's
concession setup than hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah, right. I mean, when you got a barbecue out there, you can pretty much do anything you want.
Right,
So,
yeah.
so that's that. Real excited for what's going to happen in the springtime around here. I mean, it's what they talk about inside. Well, step 3, phase 3. Is outside in the back of the building.
Yeah, and if you can see what's been done in here, I have full faith with the Trinity team is going to be able to pull off something amazing out there.
Yeah. I'm leaving all the design work and all the decorations and everything else that goes along. That's Bev and Will and Dan and Sean. They can handle it. They've done pretty well so far. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely. That's going to be amazing to have this bumped out here. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And to see, I know, like you said, you can't see it here. The cameras are pointing the wrong way. But once this patio is done, it will likely be, I mentioned West Springfield, but you said just a region.
Mm-hmm.
To have a patio that isn't in a parking lot, on a main road,
right,
or somehow just not in a, you're going to overlook essentially what will be once it's grown in forest.
Right. It will be, there's the pavilion. If people remember the Elks, the pavilion's on the other side of some trees. That is still the city's. We have nothing to do with that. But there's also, hopefully, in the plans, going to be a nature trail, nature walk. So we'll see what that goes with. There'll be entrances and exits from that coming up around the side of the patios too. So it's all one big plan that's starting to take shape, and it's really exciting to be part of it.
So I know that's phase 3.
Yep.
So what about the second floor here? I'll tell you.
Second floor. We're on the second floor.
Yeah, that's right. The fourth floor.
The fourth floor.
I'll tell you, we were planning my annual fundraiser, and my brother's getting calls, people selling tickets and everything, and everyone's giving him a hard time. They're like, your brother's such a huge supporter of the ICC. Why isn't he having it in the ballroom there? Because that's what used to be the spot to have a big party in West Springfield.
Well, it will be. But phase 4 will be the top floor, and everybody around here remembers that as a big ballroom. And that's basically what it's going to be, again, the Performing Arts Center. It'll be a big ballroom, so yes, weddings and parties and concerts, but there'll be dance competitions. There'll be all sorts of stuff upstairs. That will be the last thing we do, but it's not that far away. You could take a walk up there now and say, oh, you got a lot of work up here. There's really not. The chandeliers are, and I don't know if you've seen them, Eversource and has given us a good-sized grant to do a lot of the decorating and upstairs. So the chandeliers that are going to be there forever are already up. So a lot of the electrical work and a lot of the, some of the drywall, they made new walls, made new doorways, made the bar area. So that's all done. So there's some flooring to do. There's going to be some work on the ceiling and the other 3 walls and the windows. But as soon as we finish the patio, I don't think they're going to give me a whole lot of time to sit back and enjoy the patio. They say, hey, phase 4 is now. So that will take shape too. So that's going to be exciting too for all indoor parties. But that'll be phase 4. I got to get through phase 3 first. Part of phase 3, I want, because this actually is exciting to me too, is on the building, outside the building, but on it, we're going to put an Irish streetscape. So it will be like you're walking in downtown Dingle on Main Street with all the shops. So we're going to have carpenters out there building different levels, different windows, of a streetscape. So it looks like when you're sitting on the patio, it looks like you're sitting in downtown Dingle. You know this.
So you're building a movie set out there?
We're basically building a movie set. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. So there'll be different shops. There'll be different sponsors. There will be a few things that it will have local ties to it. But we'll make sure that it looks like you're right in the middle of Ireland. So that's going to be great.
When we first got into Dingle in December, one thing I did notice was just not just the shops, but like the color and just how they popped out, and you could really, it was like being in a little village. Well, it is a little village, but it was just to see it was awesome. To sit. Sean's been telling me that he's going to do that for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
So now when I I could kind of picture, just like I could kind of picture what they're going to do here, but to see it actually essentially created over there where the idea came from. I know it's
Right.
going to look awesome
It is.
back here.
It is. It's like I told you off the air. The back of the building is going to become the front of the building. And I said that to Sean and a couple people. I said all of our marketing material that we're going to do, the pictures we'll put on the websites and in newspapers and everything will eventually be the back of the building when the patio's built, the bump out is done, and that streetscape is up. This building is going to look like it should just be picked up and transported over to Ireland. And that's going to be, I think, what excites people too about coming in. So, but we need people to come in too. You mentioned Martin Ferris. I want to, before I forget, he is actually coming here on St. Patrick's Day. He'll be here Saturday afternoon. He's doing the tour, doing the rounds of Western Massachusetts. I think he's going to the Boyle. I think he's going to the Sons of Erin too. There's a reception for him at noontime, but he'll be here somewhere 3 to 4 o'clock where you can't get him nailed down because he's going to all these places. He may be a little longer at some of them.
Pub stops take time.
Well, they do. But we wanted, and his daughter's coming with him. He's a member. I believe he's retiring, and I think she is running for his seat. So politics doesn't go far away in this place. And representative from the Council General's office in Boston will be here along with them. So it's going to be, obviously it's going to be busy anyways here on Saturday and tomorrow and Sunday. But the Martin Ferris will be here also. So he's making another
coming back
appearance. He keeps coming back.
Yeah.
He must like the place.
Has he been back since that first time he came?
I don't believe so.
So he's going to see. He'll see firsthand too the changes.
Correct. When you said that, I want to get his reaction because lots of people say that. Some people saw it the way you saw it when they were, they remember this as the Elks, and then they came in and saw it when it was ripped apart. Right. And now they're coming back, seeing what it looks like now, and they're saying,
which I think is beautiful. Actually, first time I came down here for the challenge, I was like, "This is really nice. It's beautiful down here."
Yeah. By the way, Pete was on our side.
Of course. I feel like the entire bar was on Westfield side. Everyone's just like, "Oh, nice to meet you, man." I'm like, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Westfield." I'm like, "Is there anyone here from West Springfield?"
Oh, I was between a rock and a hard place though, because I got two hosts going head to head. You
got to do a little more recruiting.
We had a nice contingent here, but it wasn't. I didn't know I was going to be overwhelmed by the Sullivan clan and all of Westfield that traveled out this way.
Go hard or go home.
Unfortunately, Mayor, my new boss was the other guy. So
somebody signs his paycheck and it ain't you.
I think I worked harder while we were here, though. He seemed to kind of.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you know how to make a drink. I'm not saying he can't pour a beer, but other than that, I'm not sure he's got a lot of experience making things. So.
No, but that was a ton of fun. I'm glad we can do those types of things. Yeah. And what's nice about this, as you said, people coming in from Westfield, Springfield, Chicopee, they were able to partner up and make it more of a regional thing. Right. It's not just a West Springfield bar or a restaurant. It's a regional.
Right. It is a regional thing. And I know Pete's yelling at you to take a break, and we'll do that in a second, Pete. But that's one thing that I want to stress is that this is a regional cultural center. Okay, and I know people ask me all the time, well, how does the John Boyle O'Reilly Club react to you? How do the Sons of Erin react to you? They've been more than welcoming. I couldn't ask for better partners. They have sent out letters to their membership to say, this is part of us. We can do more of the cultural part of it and the heritage part of it than either one of those fraternal clubs can. Continue to be members of those clubs and continue to go to those clubs. Come in here every now and then just to take a look around and see what we're all about. They have been outstanding with us for that. So, I want to thank them for being part of this. It's that whole rising tide lifts all ships. Mm-hmm. That's what this is. Okay, and that's what we want to make sure that everybody out there knows. They have representation on our board. Both the Sons and both the Boyle have representation, as do the Hibernians, which is great. We want to keep everybody involved and make sure that everybody is part of this organization and not just the select few. So everybody can come on in. Now we can go.
You don't have to be Irish.
You do not have to be Irish. Come on in. I'll get a patron out of anybody. I don't care.
All right, Pete, we'll take a break.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Underwriting for WSKB's community radio programming is brought to you in part by CrossFit Swarm, offering CrossFit, Beck's Body Express boot camp style classes, as well as Swarm Fit cardio fitness classes, incorporating fitness moves and choreographed to fun, upbeat music. CrossFit Swarm's coaches provide the most current, highest quality training, nutrition, and fitness programs. On the web at CrossFitSwarm.com or at 4 Coleman Avenue in Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut shops of Westfield and the Sardina family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
All right, we're back here. We got 20 minutes left of this 3
Come
hours.
on,
This
15 minutes
left.
3 hours.
Oh. I'll tell you what. I assumed I was excited we're going to do an hour here. It's awesome that you can come out here, Pete. I appreciate that.
Well,
But,
thank Nick and Chris from Westfield Channel 15 for doing the cameras for us. Yeah.
Too on Facebook. I'll have to check the comments out later. I didn't want to be like everyone could see me on my phone the whole time. I was just looking at comments and trying to respond to stuff. But Carly told me, she's like, "Oh, you're going to be on?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, Pete told me this is great." She's like, "No, but you're going to be on for 3 hours." I'm like, 3 hours?
Right, because what I didn't anticipate was Tina taking vacation time this week and saying, "Oh, Pete, by the way, I'd love to do the Irish Cultural Center, but I'm not going to be there."
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I found out today she was on vacation. I thought you just bumped her.
No,
so I'd
no,
have
no,
to talk
no.
for 3 hours. It's like, well, you didn't have to do that, Pete. I'm okay with just going for my usual hour here.
What, 3 hours too long to do a radio show? Come on.
Well, I'm more impressed now, Bo, with what you've done over the past year because this is like off here. And I say, when you come in, you're like, you don't have notes. I'm like, oh, should I have had notes? Like,
well, I didn't have notes. I was like you. I've never done notes. It's funny because I've got Kate Phelan's on next from the Westfield Chamber, and she asked me to be the guest speaker at the chamber breakfast, which is Friday morning. It's like, great. I need another thing to do on Friday.
Speech all set?
A speech. I've never, ever written a speech. You know, I'm always the one introducing people.
Yeah, you're the MC.
I would introduce my brothers, or I would introduce John Veal, or whoever it was. You know, if I was over doing something else. Friday night, I've got the state basketball tournaments in Springfield this year. I'm the MC for that.
Oh, really?
I don't have a speech. I'm introducing people. They got my picture all over the place. I'm a guest speaker. I'm like, I looked at Sean. I said, do you make a speech at these things? He goes, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, and I got to write a speech. I've never written a speech in my life. So
if you contracted your daughter to write it for you?
Yeah, I know. My daughter, the journalism major up there at Ithaca, I said, hey, honey, start writing. So I don't know, Pete, you're going to have to tell me. You're my judge because Pete will be there on Friday morning. So so we'll see.
Oh, so I can play the out front. I'll be, like tennis announcers out there. Right. Me and JPEG Luca.
No. You can't talk during it.
Me and JPEG Luca will come in for breakfast.
Okay, you can come in.
Is
come
it
in and be a
question
judge.
and answer session?
I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not, because this breakfast is like doing a morning show. Mm-hmm. You know, it's who can tell the better joke and who can make fun of the person. Chuck Kelly from Flowers by Webster.
He's the official greeter.
He's the greeter.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So a good West Springfield company, but he's also got a shop in Westfield. So I'm nervous. Because I saw him here, as a matter of fact, and I've seen him in a couple other places. Said, you ready for it? He goes, I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm like,
Chuck's already giving you the business,
what does that mean?
That's exactly. He goes, keep your head down. I'm like, here we go. Between him and Brian and Velas and Humison and everybody else that's up there, I'm going to come in here with tire tracks on my back. So
it's going to be like a panel discussion?
No, it's a breakfast.
It's a St.
just
Patrick's
a regular
Day
legislative
breakfast.
but it's the chamber, and I'm kind of nervous now because they're all saying, "I hope you're ready." It's like, it's not me.
What is it to be ready for?
I don't know. I guess I'm the one because they usually do.
What does that mean?
They usually do pick on somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it just turns into that or if they all get together and say, "Listen, this is the guy we're going after this year." I don't know, but they haven't said that to me, so that's what's making me nervous. So whatever, I've done it, I guess, for a little bit, so I'll take it. Just remember, I still can dish it out. So, so we'll see. That should be fun.
Are you writing a speech? You're just gonna wing it.
I wrote it. Well, no, okay. Sean had one, and I just kind of edited it. So the base of the speech was there. I edited it to more Westfield, more me, more family. So it'll. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
If the speech is no good, it's Sean Cahaline's fault. See?
Plausible deniability, Bo?
Absolutely.
Put it on Sean.
Absolutely.
So is the idea to kind of highlight the cultural center and then
yes,
okay.
It'll be some Irish history, Irish immigrants coming to Western Massachusetts. There's a little bit of that, a little bit of personal stuff in it, but. Trust me, it's short. I'm not going. I think she said 10 to 15 minutes. I said, Kate, I ain't doing 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, I said you may get 5 out of me, and that's still long. But for some reason, when you get going,
you can get going.
And I ad lib, which I tend to do. It may go at least 5 minutes, but it's not going to go a whole lot longer than that. So. They don't want to listen to me anyways.
No one wants to listen to anyone for 10 minutes.
No, and it's the Friday before St. Patrick's Day. Nobody works anyways. Yeah. So they had their breakfast. They had their eggs. They want to get out of there, do their 2 or 3 hours in the office, and then it's time to go out. There's corned beef to be had somewhere.
Absolutely.
So they don't want to listen to me. So, which is fine.
Yeah, it's also March Madness this week too. This is
right. It's the tournament starts
week.
Today?
Well, it actually started last night. Yeah,
they had some
St. Bonnie's,
yesterday,
which around here with UMass, St. Bonnie's won last night. They knocked off UCLA.
Oh, wow.
And
16-16 match.
Radford? I forget what.
Radcliffe.
Derek Kellogg lost last night.
Oh,
they made the
LIU
Brooklyn made it. They got beat last night in their first game. So good run, good for him. He made it. Maybe he is that coach. I don't know, but we'll see what he does next year. Get his own players in there. So
Absolutely. Yeah, so it will be a great week, a great weekend. A lot of stuff going on here.
There is. There's lots of music. Actually, there's a couple
Starting
things
tonight,
going on.
right?
Say that again?
Starting tonight.
Starting tonight. We'll have the sessions here tonight. So come on in, have dinner, listen to some great music. No amplifiers, no speakers. It's all acoustic and it's
the way
great.
it's supposed to be.
The way it's supposed to be.
I was here this past summer. It was just random. I got here a little later, and a couple guys just started like singing.
Yeah,
Irish, I thought they were just maybe had been overserved. And they just, no, they might have been. Who knows?
Yeah, they could have been. But
they just started singing. I was really impressed. It wasn't like me started singing. Everybody was like, "Shut up!
Yeah, I know.
Sit down.
Yeah,
I'll drive you home." These guys were. It was really impressive.
They play, and they obviously play acoustic, and they play for an extended period of time. But when they take a break and they're sitting around thinking, "Okay, what's their next song?" All of a sudden, one of them, and there's 12 or 15 of them just sitting here playing. One of them will just start singing.
Yeah.
And then you get 12 or 15 of them singing.
Everybody
and then you
jumping
add
in.
people. Yeah, everybody jumps in. It's like, wow, you guys, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun. So come on in and enjoy it.
And when you say all acoustic, it's not like your average bar where that has a band playing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hear yourself. It's very intimate, and the music is fantastic.
Right. There's no problem with you eating dinner and having a conversation with the people you come with to have dinner. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about this is that it's I don't want to call it atmosphere music, but that's what it is. Mm-hmm. But it's really good.
Yeah.
They're really good. They get some great people coming out here and playing for it. So.
And it is. And if you ever go to Ireland and you go to a little bar, it's like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
A little group of people playing acoustic. You can still hear what's going on in the bar. It's really impressive.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to the future of the Cultural Center.
Yeah. So obviously Saturday, come on in. It's the high holiday. There's music starting. I believe we're starting at noon. They'll play for a couple hours. We will take some time off. So if you just want to enjoy the place, have something to eat, you can certainly do that. Then we start the music back up again after 4. Martin Ferris will be here. Fanula Quinlan, who's the Council General, I don't think is coming because either A, she had the baby a week ago, or is going to have it. She's not leaving Boston. Let's put it that way. But there are representatives from the office. So that'll be a big event. We'll walk him around, and he'll be able to answer questions if people got questions about, how things going in Ireland and.
And he's got an interesting history as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think he's when he's here Saturday morning at that lunch. I think he wrote a book about his time in prison and the hunger strikes and everything. So he's a really interesting guy. And it's nice. We met his daughter in Killarney when we did our council meeting to become the official sister city because she's on the council.
Right.
So we get to meet her, and so they're both coming over.
Right. I think people have big plans for her.
Yes.
In her future
Yes.
over in Ireland. So it'll be interesting to meet her too. And, now you can say you met somebody and keep your eye on how things are going over there, and who knows. But there are people who have big plans for her, so that'll be interesting. Be fun.
Awesome.
Stop in.
It's going to be a great weekend. This is always. I was here last year on St. Patrick's. It was a Friday.
Yeah. Well.
It was. It was mobbed, and I'm sure it'll be mobbed this Friday as well because it's almost like St. Patrick's Day.
Well, and like we just said,
the whole weekend is
the
like
people will go. They'll go do their 9 to noon, 9 to 1 in the office, and they'll come here, and that's okay. We'll be open 1
I have
o'clock.
a big question: is the TV going to be on with the games? I know we got the TV. And it's March Madness.
I haven't broached that subject yet. I've had people say, "Can we come watch the game?" Because they know the TV's on that wall and the bar's right there, so it's a perfect place to sit and watch basketball games. So
right.
It's still up in the air.
I am pushing that because I want to watch them. So starting tomorrow, so we'll see if it happens or not.
We take the big first step of putting the TV there.
Yeah.
So
the next big step is actually getting cable.
Yeah.
That right now is an absolute no. So we'll see. We'll see.
What I love is when Sean, since he's not here, we can make fun of him. The traditional Irish pub, he said no TVs. I said, oh, okay. So Sean was with us when we were in Ireland, and every pub we went to, I'm like, hey, Sean, look. It's a TV. And it's a pub in Ireland. Look at that.
We're not in Ireland, though.
They must be okay.
We are an American-Irish organization, cultural center. So you're in this kind. Well, I don't know. I mean,
Like,
that
his argument was
argument.
like, it's a traditional Irish pub. I'm like, okay, well, how traditional is it? Because I would think an Irish pub in Ireland is pretty
It's
traditional.
pretty traditional.
And they have TVs. I mean, it's not like it's a sports bar where there's TVs all behind the
Right.
bar and all, but like you have a TV on like the big stuff, playoffs, March Madness.
Well, Notre Dame football will be shown here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
so when it's a Saturday
That's a done
afternoon or
deal.
Saturday
Yeah.
night, Notre Dame football will be on.
It's a start.
Until the music starts. Well, and I get that. As soon as the music starts, TV off.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that works.
Or
For me.
just kill the sound.
Yeah.
Oh God! Don't even go. Don't.
That's another battle he doesn't want to fight just yet.
Listen,
I'm patient. I've learned patience in this job, so
I've only been here for 2 months. All right. Actually, today, 2 months. You know, I've got my feet wet a little bit. It's not cable TV and TV during March
well, during your
Madness.
2 months, the TV got here.
It
so
got
I gotta
here,
give you credit for that.
so far I get baby steps. Is that what they say? Baby
Yeah,
steps.
baby steps, exactly.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And I think you're done 3 hours.
Yeah.
Look at that,
Pete,
see?
again, thank you both. Thank you for
Oh,
joining
no
me.
problem.
I'm glad we could do this here and highlight the Irish Cultural Center. And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Come on in all weekend. We'll be here.
I wear the joys country Caleb. Playing away and we're doing it right. Well, if we're singing a song, won't you give us a hand? 'Cause we're the Joyce Country Caleb. Oh, there's a princess on the floor all night. Mona, Carnamona. She can fairly throw them shapes all right. Mona, Carnamona. Oh, how are you, Madge? Are you on your own? Mona, Carnamona. How are you fixed for a seat back home? 'Cause we're the Joyce Country Caleb.